Right then, guys, so now we're getting nearer and nearer to clear water, so it's time to start getting bait ready for when we get down there, which I like to make sure that the boilies they're air dried for 24 hours, and that's depending if the shelf life it's for my boilies, by the way, is when I say shelf life, I mean I add preservative to it. If someone specifically says I want a shelf life bait, I will add a preservative to it. I hate using preservatives. But I will say this, any of my bait, if it is treated right and it's put in the right an air drying bag and it's air dried for 48 hours, it's a shelf life bait. Simple as it's a shelf life bait. I've not had one go off on me, but I had preservative just as a cushion for me with that, because what you'll find is you'll find someone that doesn't know how to prep the bait right, which it ain't as easy as a lot of things doing bait. So it's done right, but it's even some of the air drying bags, the holes are small on them, and I don't like it. I'd much rather do it in a landing net. A large 42-inch landing net, put all your bait in it, hang it up and just keep rotating it daily. Keep rotating it so baits are getting moved around to outside, some to inside, and you will find that after 2 days that the baits are shelf life, but the sugars come to the outside, so you sometimes get a frosting on the outside of them. Now, to those that don't know, they think, oh, what's that? It's the sugars from the inside of the bait are coming to the outside of the bait. That's all it is. Continue to air dry and it will be fine. So right, I've taught you through that bait. Right, so these are the baits that I'm going to take down with me. Now, Steve asked me to do him a bait for down there. Now, I've done him this one, which is, it's like a tutti frutti, but it's got a few other little things in there that we've been doing well on treating on. So and he did well on treating on it. So not treating, Langworth. So I thought, why change a winning formula for him? Because if anyone's going to have a big night there, it's going to be him. I know it is. The way he's fishing lately, he's doing really well. Doing really, really well. Tell you that now. Since the last few weeks, since he's been going, he's been doing really well. Now this is the bit I've done for myself, which if he wants to mix those with those, if he thinks that I've done these because there's an edge in them, which I haven't. The reason I've done this is because I'm fishing particles, and I'm fishing emp and sweet corn. And I can't see a better bait than that on a blowback rig, fished over corn and sweet corn. So over sweet corn and emp, I think it's going to be deadly. Now they're 12 millis. These ones are they're a white barrel. They're a white barrel, but I think they're a 14mm barrel. These ones, which they'll go more white when they dried. They'll go more of a white colour. So they're the ones that I've done for me, and they're the ones that I've done for Steve, which I will more than likely mix them, like I said, and we'll do that, because I ain't bothered. I know that there's good full value in both them baits, and I know that on the day either of them are going to catch fish. Definitely, and it ain't seen it sees a lot of sticky baits, and now that's why we're coming to this. We're coming to this now. This is what I've been preparing. Now this is just because it's been in the freezer, that it'll smash up into a crumb. It'll all go to a fine crumb. Now I'm gonna blitz it all again. Them little bits what you can see in it there, that's not lumps. That's just where it froze together. All them are coming out. It's coming out of freezer tomorrow and it's getting air dried. Same as the boilies. The crumb still needs air drying, because it's got to. I want it as dry as possible so it sucks that glug in. This glug, so it sucks that in. Which is, I'm doing a glug now for every boilie I do, and this is the Roxy krill, belly cam, and shrimp. Right, so then that's that one out of the way. Now this is what I think is going to do the damage. This one. Now that is a it's Roxa. It's grilled belly clam shrimp, rolled into nice barrels. There is other species in there, but I ain't bothered about catching other species. I know eventually carp will come along and I'll nail one. But the thing is that ain't been took down to a fine crumb like the other one. Now you may notice, and anyone that's got a keen eye will notice that is a different colour to that. Now that is because this one ain't got tuna in it. That one has. I'm Robin Red, which all I'm looking for with that is I'm looking for it to coat oat weed. I just want it to a bit like a Christmas tree, where I'm spotted tart as a soup with hemp. It's just gonna be a wet mix, sloppy mix. It's going out with hemp. I'm spotted tart over my baits, so it falls through water and it coats all the weed and all the bottom in minute particles. That's all I'm wanting. A lot of attraction. There's plenty of food value there as well, and it's going to attract the smaller fish in the roach, the bream. There's only roach and bream in there, I think he said, and just carp, them three species. Oh, there's barbel, big barbel. So I'm hoping that it's going to attract them all in. I want everything into the party, because I know eventually, once them more wiser carp see other fish feeding, and they're feeding confidently, then I know them carp will eventually push other fish out. So this is the one that I will go careful with, and this is the one I will put a bit of that in with my spod mix, because I do want bits of that in with my spod mix. I do want them to get some food, you know what I mean. I do want to feed them as well. It's but some of them will be coming out. Some of them will be coming out, and they will be getting put in a pop-up tub and glued in that. So that's just a little insight into what I will be personally doing. I don't know what Steve's going to be doing. I ain't really talked to him much about it. I think he's just going to turn up with that and probably catch a fucking 40-pounder, but I'm going to all this trouble and I'll probably end up with 3 16s and a 12. But we can bet up. It's the other thing as well is that these gloves, they're all PVA friendly, and they're an actual food source in their own. But later on, when it's only really till end of this month, I'd say the end of this, beginning of November is when I will be really cutting back on mid-November. I will be cutting back on the actual food. I know people say that they feed heavily through till January, and I've never personally, ever known them feed ever in January, ever. Now I've known them feed up to the beginning of December. On the other hand, they will feed really heavy. So up to about November, end of November, it's only bait will have an high food value. But then after that, the value of food will be going down, which I've already started on a fibre bait. It's more, there's still full value in it, because I still think you should get a salt something. Otherwise, to me, it's like going to a restaurant and there's just been salad there. You're not going to go back, are you? You know what I mean? You want something that's going to be worth the while. But it's from all winter fishing I've done all years. Those late fish, and I've caught them in minus 3 out of Rother Valley, which ain't easy water at all. It's not an easy water in spring or summer. Never mind in -3. It's, unless you can put a bait on that fish's head on a water like that, you ain't catching them. they're not moving. It's the sitting up in weed. That weed's collapsing around them. And just to tell you what, take a temperature gauge here and chuck it in where weed is. And I think you'll notice that there's about a 3 or 4 degree difference in the weed to just ask a few feet away, really, from a few feet away from that to the weed. They let the weed collapse over them and they'll just sit up. There's a 2 to 3 degree, maybe 4 degree difference in temperature. That's why they sit up in weed, and that's why majority of the time when you catch them in winter, they're covered in leeches. Especially at an healthy gravel pit. It's some people think that they're feeding on them. They're not. It's where they've been dormant, where they've sat on bottom, and leeches are feeding on the blood. That's all they're doing. So I thought I'd show you that anyway. So if fishing clear water over the next few days, this is a total lie and I'm using mainline. No, this is what I'm going with, guys. Cheers, bye bye.